In the aftermath of the bloodletting called the Civil War, thousands of ruthless, restless, searching men traveled west. Such a man is William Colton. Like the others, he carried a blanket roll, a proficient gun, and a dedication to a new chapter in American history, the opening of the West.
Quite a storm. You know the bridge is out up ahead? You open for business? You take an overnight guest here, don't you? You're not filled up, are you?
You will forgive me, senor, but we are no longer in charge here.
If you will look behind you, senor, there is a gentleman who can answer any of your questions.
I don't need to look behind me. I just heard the gentleman. Will the gentleman give me permission to turn around?
Keep your hands away from your sides. Higher. Turn around. You're here to call me, ain't you, mister?
Why should I do that? I don't even know who you are.
I'm Billy Ford. That don't mean anything to you?
Is it supposed to?
I've got an instinct for callers, mister. Especially when they figure I'm off my feet and slowed down. Okay. Call me.
I'll tell you what. I'll risk a bullet for a hot cup of coffee. Let's see if Mr. Ford will let me die with some degree of comfort, huh? Some coffee, please.
Senor, the gentleman will not permit us to leave the room. We have been here for some time now.
Well, let's make it easy for him then, huh? Take my gun belt off and put it on the table there.
Over here.
I was only going to help you, senor. You are very ill.
You got a bullet inside you? Is that what's turning your face gray?
I've got something inside me, but it's not a bullet.
When he first rode in here, he could barely get off his horse. But now he eats nothing. He drinks nothing. Just sits there holding his gun.
Hey, give me back the gun.
Please.
Who's after you, Ford?
Who ain't? I've notched 22 times. That means there's 122 that are gunning for me. To see who's best.
Well, my guess is the next fight you're involved in had nothing to do with guns.
Huh?
Where is the pain?
Here. What do you think?
I'm not a doctor, but I think you sure need one.
Creo que debemos decirle.
I understand Spanish. Now, what is it you must tell me?
There is a doctor upstairs.
Oh. Why do you suppose God is so friendly?
That's a good question. Can you call him down here?
He has been here 3 days now. We send his meals up, what little he eats. Mostly he drinks. Whiskey, tequila, anything.
He's a doctor, ain't he? Well, that's something. Why didn't you tell me this before? You ask him to come down here.
He will not come down, senor. He is a strange man, a silent man. He does nothing but drink. And then he walks back and forth across his room. Back and forth. Maria and I have heard him 3 nights now.
If he can walk across his room, he can walk down those stairs. Now get him. Get him!
I'll get him.
What about my gun?
That's all I've got!
Well, if it's all you've got, you're a poor man. What's stalking you now can't be turned aside with a bullet.
What's stalking me now?
A rider on a pale horse that has many more than 22 notches.
Some coffee, please, senorita. For me and the fast gun there.
Si, senor.
What do you want?
You a doctor?
Doctor? Of course I'm a doctor. I'm more than a doctor. I'm a surgeon. I'm the best surgeon on earth. Come on in, cowboy. You and I will have a drink. We'll drink to the profession of medicine.
Well, let's work at it first and then drink to it, huh?
Tools of my trade. They're the last things to be hocked, also the next things to be hocked. If there's a call for their services, I'll sell the bag for a bottle. How long will it take you to bring one up here?
How long will it take you to sober up enough to walk downstairs and tend to a sick man?
Sick man is there. You just give him a pill and keep him out of a draft. If he lives, have a party. If he dies, you can just dwell on the frailty of human beings. But in the meantime, bring me a bottle or leave me alone.
He's as gray as a timber wolf. Sweating, full of fever. Pain's in his right side. And my guess is that it's some kind of infection.
So that's what you've diagnosed, huh? And who are you, laddie, the Surgeon General?
It's on his right side is probably his appendix. If his face is gray and he's in pain, he's probably got peritonitis, which is a fancy name for poison. And if it is his appendix, cowboy, you better get yourself a doctor and get him pronto before it bursts.
And if it bursts, laddie, get yourself a shovel and a nice plot of earth.
You've got instruments in here, haven't you? And you know how to use them, don't you?
Yeah, sure, I've got instruments. I've got 4 different scalpels. I've got forceps. I've got beautiful steel needles. I've got everything a surgeon needs except one thing. Everything a surgeon needs, save one thing. This. I was celebrating an anniversary up here. 1 year ago today, my right hand departed the premises. A spooky horse, an overturned wagon, railroad track, and the very foreseeable result of a locomotive wheel pitted against flesh and bone.
So from being a well-paid surgeon in the state of Connecticut, I find myself out here a few thousand miles from nowhere, going from place to place like any itinerant drunk. What is it you want from me, cowboy? To cut into a man's stomach using this? An element of humor has just entered my humble accommodations. Laddie, you go downstairs and tell your sick friend to make his peace. Depending on how long it's been, the next step is rupture, and then, as it must to all men.
Will you look at him? Will you come downstairs and just take a look at him?
Yeah. Sure. I'll take a look at him for old time's sake. I might even tell him how lucky he is. When the appendix ruptures, the pain goes away, and the dying is quite quick and relatively painless. As opposed to my own, which is tedious, extended, and full of agony. It's that useless piece of flesh called the appendix. It's hopeless. There's not one single thing I can do. And with that diagnosis, my fee is one long drink.
You tell your father. I won't be bothering him much longer.
You must not speak so, senor.
You tell your father I've got 4 gold pieces that he could use for my shroud in the box. Whatever is left over, he can keep for himself.
You must never tempt death, Senor Ford. Never beckon to it. Death comes at its own good time, and it comes too soon.
Not for me, it don't.
But why?
Because I'm tired. I'm tired of looking into the front end of guns.
It need not be this way, senor. Whatever it is that you seek to prove has already been proven. If the challenge is to face death, you have faced it. If the challenge is to conquer fear, this victory you've had. Now you should be satisfied.
Tú eres muy bonita, niña.
No, senor. I'm not beautiful. I'm very plain.
You're beautiful. You're very beautiful.
Why do you cry? What is he to you?
Stranger.
By name a stranger, but by occupation he's one of a long breed. The death makers. All of them doomed at an early age.
But he's young.
He's an old man. At 22, he's an old man with permanent insomnia. Don't weep over him. He's not worth it.
Every man is worth it. To think otherwise would be to offend God.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. But I am the most improbable judge of other men. Now, what I can feel such a consummate dislike of myself.
Doctor, please help him. Por favor, help him. I beg of you.
Help him, huh? If there's to be any weeping, keep it low. I may get some sleep tonight. I'm in desperate need of it.
Doctor, it's a long trip you're about to take. From that kid's bed to your room, longest trip on Earth, because you'll never be able to come back.
Where else shall I walk, Mr. Colton?
To that boy's room with me. You tell me what to do and I'll do it. Your brain, my 2 hands.
You must be out of your mind, Mr. Colton. Have you ever performed surgery?
I took out a couple of bullets.
A couple of bullets. Compared to what must be done to that boy in there, that's child's play.
Doctor, you took an oath, didn't you?
Oh, I did, indeed. Holding up the right hand that used to be there. But nothing in that oath requires that I partake of some well-meaning butchery guided by a whiskey-soaked brain of a half-man. What children we all are. What game players. Let's indulge ourselves. You'll need a bucket of hot water, some clean cloths, lots of them. Lay all the instruments out in the line. As you proceed, I'll tell you which ones to use. Mr. Robles, you'll have to hold him down, you and your daughter. We'll give him ether, but I don't have too much of it. Mr. Colton, you'll have to do your job quickly. If you don't, you'll have a screaming madman on your hands. Shall we retire to the patient's room to indulge in a little compassionate murder? Mr. Ford, we'll be putting something over your face for just a moment. Just breathe deeply. It'll be ether. You'll want to fall asleep. Don't fight it, understand? Hold him down.
Here, hold it on him, huh? Easy.
All right, Mr. Colton, your patient seems to be ready. Take the scalpel. Now we find a spot on the abdomen about 2/3 of the way in from the right hip bone, running down obliquely toward the abdomen. Right there, that's exactly it. Now, Mr. Colton, you'll be making an incision down obliquely toward the abdomen for 4 inches. Now make that 5. Give yourself more space to work in.
All right, now that's from here to here, huh?
That's right, exactly, right there. Oh, press hard. Quick. Down hard. Get on with it, man. He can't feel a thing. Now, you see those muscles? That's the abdominal muscle with the lines running down and across, meshed. I want you to cut between them.
Exactly.
That's it. Keep going. That's good. Now hold it. Now, that large translucent tissue with lines running down its length, you see it?
Yes.
Divide it.
Like that.
Pull it apart. Go on, pull it apart and you'll see the intestines. They'll bulge right through. There. Now, look down and you'll see the large intestine. You can't miss it. It's the largest one.
Something seems to be getting in the way.
That's the sinew. Just push it aside. Here, man, use this. Push it aside. Maria, right, wipe the perspiration off Mr. Colton's face.
My eyes.
There we go. That's all right. You pulled a nerve. Just keep going. That's good. Now we look for the white bands running down lengthways like ribs. That's right there.
That's it. Right there, huh? That's it. Is that it, that red lump there?
That's the appendix. Swollen, full of poison. Have to drain it first and then cut away a little tissue. Then do a little praying.
You have been with him all this time. Go to sleep. I will watch over him.
There is no need for that. He spoke to me. He said he felt no more fear. That is what he said. No more fear. That was the last he said. Si, Senor Colton. He's dead.
Gone?
He's gone. He's gone and I'm more than a stranger. How odd.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Colton, you've killed a number of men, haven't you? Many?
Too many.
This time you try to save one. That's a legacy from young Mr. Ford. Mine was the reminder of an oath. And I shall teach him this art by precept, by lecture, by every mode of teaching. Not only to my own sons, but to the sons of him who has taught me, and to disciples bound by a covenant and oath according to the laws of medicine. Mr. Colton, if you ever decide to take up medicine, look me up in the East. I may be in the business of teaching it. And that decision is my gift from Mr. Ford.
I'm looking for a fella named Ford, Billy Ford. Young guy. I was told he headed this way.
He did. He's dead now.
You kill him? Did ya?
You might say, in a manner of speaking, yeah, I guess I did kill him.
You must be pretty fast, mister. Maybe you and me got business together now.
You and I don't have any business together. You understand? No business at all. Now, right out.
Good morning to you, Mr. Colton.
Good morning to you, Doctor.